everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast and Merry Christmas. We are here to talk about more of the non-Hallmark holiday releases to have come out in the last week or so that we haven't had a chance to report on. And it's always a ton of fun. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Terry's here.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, we're
Good.
almost there. We're almost done. Can you believe
Almost
it?
done. Almost to the end of the year. Almost to Christmas. Now
Yeah.
all I got to worry about is drones flying in the air. But other than that, it's all good.
Yes. And Michelle will be here for our final non-Hallmark Christmas recap that we'll do after Christmas. So she'll be here to report on any others that she has during that episode. But we want to hear from you. We want to hear what you have been watching and if you caught up on some of the things that we had talked about previously, whatever. We just want to hear your thoughts. But let's dive in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Lifetime movie that we both ended up watching. So we saw The Holiday Junkie, and this stars Jennifer Love Hewitt and Brian Hallisey, and it was directed by Jennifer Love Hewitt and written by her and Anna White.
Yeah, and Anna White she has some really good ones and some stinkers in her
Yeah.
list, but generally she has some good holiday films.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had her on the podcast a number of times. She's done our
Yeah,
Patreon watch along. She's wonderful. We love her. But
yeah. She's got some real winners in up in
yeah,
there.
yeah. Anybody has their misses, as we all
Yeah,
know.
sure.
But The Holiday Junkie, it follows Andy, who runs a decorating company with her mother. After her mother's passing, Andy navigates her first Christmas alone while trying to find love. So, what was
Mm.
your overall thoughts about this one?
I I didn't hate this movie, but I didn't like it either because I
Uh-huh.
just thought it was boring
Yeah.
and a very unfortunate haircut for Jennifer Love Hewitt in this movie. But she had it covered with a hat for most of the movie, so that's all right. But there were some interesting things that I noticed with this movie that made me laugh. Not always wearing that. What an unfortunate hat too, and her dress at the end of the movie was seriously ugly. But I
Yeah.
noticed that I don't know if you watch the 911 show
Hmm.
that she is on, but I noticed that her loft apartment, I'm almost positive, is Buck's apartment on that show, but
Hmm.
you just see it from a different view, and he plays her brother on that show. And a lot of the people who popped up actually have recurring roles on 911 or they've guest starred or whatever. So I think she was working with it in a very familiar territory. But those things did make me laugh because I was like, I know this apartment. Like, I know this TV apartment from somewhere. It took me like a hot minute,
Yeah.
but I'm almost positive.
Well, I saw that on Letterboxd. There were a number of other people who said that.
Okay, so I
So,
wasn't the
yeah,
only
you weren't the
one.
only
Okay.
one.
But also, I did notice when she's listening to her mom's voicemail, because at first they try to fake you out in this movie where we don't know what happened to her mom. We
uh,
all know that her mom has passed away. That's Kristen Chenoweth, isn't it?
I don't know. I saw that in your
It's
review. I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm
sure.
almost positive because I went back and listened to it several times
Mm,
on the DVR. I went
yeah.
back. I said, I am almost positive that's Christian Chenoweth, which wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah.
boy, she really milked like she directed, she co-wrote it, she starred in it. She even
Yeah.
had a cover song when she's crying on them stairs, Rachel. These are the things that
Yeah.
I
That
paid
was
attention to.
really
Not a Christmas
strange.
song, by the way. It was
Missing
Missing You.
you. They have
Yeah,
missing you.
that's her
And,
cover. That's her singing it.
yeah.
I mean, because she could sing. Listen, girl, do it. You produced
Yeah.
this, you did everything, put your
I just
stuff
don't
out
know
there.
why you wouldn't have Blue Christmas in that spot. I guess they
No,
couldn't
I don't.
afford it or
Well,
something,
because
but
she
it
didn't.
just seemed like a strange
Wait,
song for
Rachel,
that
I,
spot.
I don't know if she covered Blue Christmas. She already had a song ready for this. She already covered this song. We're gonna throw it
I'm
in.
just saying it didn't have anything to do with Christmas.
No, it
So it
absolutely
felt
did not.
weird.
That was hysterical. But those were the things I paid more attention
Mm,
to than I paid attention to the romance that was going on in this movie, because these two had no chemistry on screen. And I didn't know that that was her real life husband until afterwards. I didn't put two and two together.
yeah.
But I know that he did play her abusive ex-husband on the 911 show, and they had better chemistry on that TV show than in this Christmas movie. And
Hmm.
weird because of the role he played on that. And
Right.
I was like, because to me, he was terrible. He was dead in the eyes. I felt like he gave nothing in this movie. I think she had great friends. Her best friend was so supportive. I loved that character. And the townspeople, and he was just sitting there like, did I turn my oven off? Did I shut the tea kettle off? I just thought he was dead in the eyes. I might be being
Yeah.
so severe, but he was
No, I
not
agree.
in it.
I said in my review, my little reaction, I said it's easy to see this one was made with heart and the
Oh,
themes of
totally.
grief and forgiveness work well. Unfortunately, everything else is dry and dull. I kept nodding
Mhm.
off. I said another
Mhm.
couple in real life with no chemistry on screen.
It's amazing. And I was like, wait, but these two, I've seen them together. And I was like, what's going on here? I will say they had
Yeah.
an interesting conversation about grief. And I thought they touched upon that well, like different
Hmm.
kinds of grief.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was handled well. And you could tell that they were trying to do something. And I thought as a director, I don't know if she's directed a lot, but this movie's serviceably made. It's definitely watchable, but it just didn't
Yeah.
entertain me.
Yeah. It's just, and it felt like he felt like he was bored in the
Exactly.
movie. Like
Yeah. He
his
was
character,
like,
and he
I'm
was just
only
kind of
doing
like
this because my
hanging
wife
around.
asked. Yeah. My wife asked me to do this. I got to do it.
And like I've said
Because,
many times, I think what happens is you're so comfortable as a couple
oh,
that
yes.
that reads on the screen as
Yeah.
apathetic.
True, because they have been together quite a while now.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that might be it too. It's like, come on, you have to have sparks to still be to have a successful marriage for many years and
So
still
the
together.
lack of chemistry is a sign of a very healthy marriage.
I'm starting to believe that, yes. You know what? Because it
Yeah.
is true. Because if you go back and you watch Richard Burton and Elizabeth
Yeah.
Taylor movies, they
Right.
are sizzling. But they had, a not great marriage twice. They were married
Exactly.
twice too, and it was like very fiery. So makes you wonder, like maybe if they're boring, they're okay.
Yeah, it just didn't have the that you want,
No,
even for
it
one of these
didn't.
movies. It was just kind of
No, and it
dull.
was just. Rachel, I'm tired. Every time these things swerve into party planning and they swerve into like
Yeah.
save the blank, and I just want to scream into the void. I'm just because we watch all these movies. I mean, at first I was like, Rachel better watch at least one of these Lifetime movies because I'm gonna start thinking that it's done on purpose. Like, oh, I don't have time, Terry. And
Yeah. Well,
I'm just joking. I was like,
any
oh no, she's
trope
making me. But like, I'm about to explode. I can't take any more of these.
and any trope can be done well. I mean, we've seen good party planning movies done well, but the problem is that like the party in and of itself is not compelling. It's not
No,
interesting. It's not
it's
fun. It's not exciting. We don't get to go to the party. There's nothing about planning the party that's interesting. So the only way that that works is if the banter is so good that we're entertained because we're
nope.
laughing and we're entertained. Like in Double Holiday, for example, where
Oh yeah.
Laha and I forget her name, but anyway, where they are planning this party, it doesn't really matter because it's just a background to
It's just a
their
background because they're
banter.
hanging out together, they're getting to know their families,
Yeah.
they're celebrating holidays together. It is quite different. But I think that this became a save the some not save, I'm sorry, a plan a party movie was because the it needed something because the main storyline was weak. And you needed to
Mhm.
have something for them else to do because once she's decorating that house and once they start to flirt and get to know each other, what else is going on? Because you have to fill this
Yeah.
time frame that the movie has. And and that was so boring that they had to throw this plot in
Yeah.
boring, you
Yeah.
know?
I agree. Yeah, I'd give it like a 2.5 out of
Same.
5.
Like maybe a two for me, like 2 out of 5,
Yeah. Mhm.
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Well, let's talk about the other Lifetime movie that you saw that I did not see.
Oh,
Christmas on the alpaca
this
farm.
is when I started to really feel, I was like, Rachel is gaslighting me, I think, by saying, oh, I don't have any time to watch these Lifetime, very busy. And normally I'd be like, of course, everything you have to review and stuff on stage, and movies, all this stuff. But then I started to think, when my eye was twitching after this movie, I'm like, no, I think she's gaslighting me. But Rachel, this
you
movie,
are very, very kind to me for watching
this movie. I'm enraged because, it's okay. It's very watchable, serviceably made, but I'm banging my fists on my forehead right now. If you hear that, that's just me in frustration. Sorry. But this movie was like, she's going to save the fashion industry. Take a drink every time they say this, guys. You'd be drunk. By using sustainably sourced, all natural alpaca fleece sweaters. Just the sweaters, guys. Alpaca fleece is going to save the fashion industry. But it has to be all natural. It has to come fresh from the farm.
The alpacas didn't save the movie then. They weren't super cute.
They were adorable. Adorable. And they even had a scene where one fake spit, and I was enraged by that as well. But this movie...
Did you see this last year? Because it has a 2023 date on Letterboxd.
No, I didn't, and I wish I did. I know. I think this was this is a Canadian movie that Lifetime acquired. I guess that didn't premiere anywhere last year, which is I'm assuming. But Rachel, she quits her job because her boss is like, I don't know if we can sell these alpaca sweaters, right? Okay, I get it. So she begs this farmer to come on. This is her idea to save her career, Rachel. She's going to, in like a week's time, enter this holiday contest for fashion designers. And she's going to send them like a letter and a couple of pictures with her sweaters, with a Christmas theme. And she's just going to cross her fingers that she wins this so it could save her career. She has no other backup plan besides this. And I'm like, a 1 in a million chance of winning. Okay. And she has to convince the farmer to do it, and he doesn't want to. And then she talks to his sister, and guess what she finds out, Rachel? He's thinking about selling the farm because it's...
Oh, no.
This movie swerved into a Save the Farm movie. And I watched this before I had to go to my nephew's Christmas concert at school. So I was already on edge. And I was like, I can't take it. I was shaking. Okay, so this man is like, no, it'll be he's a widow, of course. And she thinks he's so hot. She mistook him for a model. That was the dumbest meet cute. Oh, I thought you were a model. Because he's wearing a suit, Rachel, and he's hot. But I guess, all right, maybe. And he's got like a precious little girl. But, Rachel, and he just goes, okay, if you win, we'll split the money and I'll save my farm. What is your backup plan? But let me ask you a question, Rachel. If you were going to bet the farm, literally, on making these sweaters and using alpaca fleece, and you're a designer, would you go into this without knowing anything about this material? Like how to dye it, how to, how it turns into fleece, whatever, using the spindle. You would have some kind of knowledge, right? As a fashion designer, you tend to understand the material you're working with. This lady knows nothing. This man has to tell her everything. But it doesn't matter because she can cook. So she's a keeper, Rachel. And she bonds with that little girl who has a dead mama. So
She finds
fingers
her way
crossed,
back from the city to the country and learning to
Oh,
cook and
she knew how to cook already, so that was a bonus. She didn't know how to do nothing about farm or any of the material that she is a fashion designer and she is betting her entire career on.
So does
She
the
has
bet
no
pay
idea what
off
she.
with the alpacas and the
Of
fur?
course it pays
Of
off,
course
Rachel,
it pays
because
off.
you know this movie. But then when she wins, spoilers, they're like, we need to make thousands and thousands of these sweaters you could get at Walmart, right? Oh, by the way, all of this is luxury fashion. And I don't know much about fleece sweaters, and I don't know if they're luxury fashion or not. But I know I've seen some of these sweaters at Kohl's, at Walmart, and Target.
Yeah, one of
I don't
the
know how luxury they are.
on Letterbox one says I didn't know this was the origin story of the Old Navy performance fleece.
Oh my gosh, yes, that is great. But Rachel, they're like, so we have to add a synthetic material along with the fleece to just mass produce.
Oh yeah.
This man is enraged. He is like, you lied to me. She's like, no, no, I'm
Oh,
going to fix this. She goes, I'm going, like, this is so great for my career,
oh my
but I
gosh, the
will fix this.
drama.
We will go back to you, fresh off the farm, clothes or whatever. He's enraged. I don't want your money. I'm selling my farm. Thank God for her BFF, who was like, you are not going to disrespect yourself in your moment of glory. But
Uh-huh.
don't worry, Rachel, because this movie makes sure that the man gets everything he wants and her career as well. Because
Yeah.
now she will make it a limited luxury fashion. I was like, where is the luxury?
Oh.
I am enraged. I'm shaking right now at the enragement I had from this movie, which annoyed me. I just think because I was like, okay, it's going to be about fashion and it's going to be ridiculous. I don't know what they're talking about, so it doesn't really matter. But when it swerved into, we got to save this farm, I was like, don't do this to me, TV gods. Please. I've watched 1,000 save whatevers this year. Oh no. But anyway, I guess you could check it out. It's not the worst. There wasn't really much chemistry, but
Yeah, I don't know any
the
of these people in it.
alpacas were cute. I don't believe I recognized anybody in this cast. I just recognized her mean boss, who of course is, I knew all along, you just needed a push. Girl, no, you told her no and she quit. I mean, stop trying to make these people good. I know her from, oh, I can't remember her name, but I've seen her in other movies, but the main cast I wasn't familiar with. And I was like, I know this is a Canadian movie, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I was like, this is definitely acquired, and not original. And it was very frustrating to me. And it was a
Yeah.
hard week for non-Hallmark,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I'll tell you about one that I saw that you didn't see. This is actually they had a special Simpsons special for season 36 of the show, which is just insane.
Insane, and it keeps on going.
Yes.
We were children when that show first started.
Young children. I was 8 years old.
Did you
when the show
ever
started?
Because we used to watch it, we used to sneak watch it, but did you ever watch the Tracy Ullman show?
No. So I didn't I hit Simpsons viewing right around probably like season 6 through 10 was probably my kind of peak watching.
Because it's been I mean, I'm off and on with The Simpsons. I used to watch it a lot. I used to collect, remember the trading cards that they used to have? I used to have the whole collection. I don't know what happened to them, but I was big on The Simpsons. Oh, at the arcade, I played that Simpsons game where Bart hits people with the skateboard. And I remember I had a crowd of people around me. I was so close to winning in one life and I died. I was just so close, but I got to clap because I came so close. It's the only time in my life it resembled like an actual movie where you have a crowd around you watching. But yeah,
well, this special, it's called "Oh Come On, All Ye Faithful." It's on Disney Plus. and I think it did also air episodes 10 and 11 because it is 45 minutes, so it would be
Okay.
2 episodes on the show, and it was actually really good. I mean, I should say actually, because I really like Simpsons, but I think it was just like good. And what I there were a couple things I really liked. So it starts out, this guy Darren Brown, who I guess is like a British guy that does like hypnotizing and what do you call it? He's like a mentalist hypnotizer guy. Anyway, over there in the UK. And he comes to Springfield and he hypnotizes Homer because Marge is sick of him buying her terrible presents.
Wow.
So she's like hypnotize him to get better presents.
I get it.
And he ends up believing that he's Santa Claus through various things. So that's sort of your initial setup. But the interesting thing is that seeing everybody believe in this kind of magical being and believe in this person that's Homer causes Ned Flanders to have this crisis of faith. Like, how can people believe in this that he knows is Homer and knows is, ridiculous? How can he believe in and seeing this brown guy and able to cause this fixation for Homer and then remove it? How can he believe in something, in a powerful being like a god? So
Right.
the second half of the special
that's interesting.
becomes Ned Flanders having this faith crisis. And it was very well done and very moving and felt authentic. I mean, because I think Ned Flanders is a character that a lot of us fans have been kind of rooting for a long time, and
you
really
can't help but
invested in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, when he rips his shirt off, he's super ripped.
Right,
Remember that, Rachel?
Well, and his wife died.
Both of them.
Yeah. And so what's especially like sweet and tender about it is that the whole town is kind of concerned, all of Springfield, about this and about Ned. Yeah. And I'm not going to give it away, but they kind of come together to figure out a way to help him find his faith again. And it was I just thought it was very
it does sound very sweet,
lovely. Yeah, it was very
and it sounds
nice.
So better than the Christmas short they put out last year, which I think had Andrea Bocelli on it.
Oh, was it? I think so.
That. Yeah, it was a short, and now I can't remember much about it, but I remember watching that last year. But this sounds very delightful.
Yeah, it was really good. I was touched. I was moved by it. So if you are open to The Simpsons, I definitely recommend it. It'll probably be on my top Christmas of the year. It was really nice.
I might see if I could track this down. If it aired on TV, then I might be able to see it on video.
Maybe,
on
demand.
Yeah.
So it's episodes 10 and 11 of season 36 is what.
Wow, season 36. To think it started on the Tracy Ullman show.
I guess his original release date, December 17th, but that might be Disney Plus. I don't know.
I'm assuming that, yeah.
Yeah.
It probably is.
So.
Hey, this is David from the Piecing It Together podcast, a podcast about movies and the movies that inspire them. For over 4 years, each week, a guest and I take a look at a new movie through the lens of what other movies we think were either an influence or connect in some other way. It's a fun, unique way to discuss films that leads to a great list of other movies to check out that either explore the same themes and ideas or maybe utilize similar filmmaking techniques. Including special episodes in our side series that twist the format, we've done over 200 episodes, so there's bound to be one on a film you've been thinking about and want to dig deeper into. So check us out on all the major podcasting apps and at piecingpod.com.
Okay, so let's talk about A Sprinkle of Christmas. You recorded your thoughts on this last week.
Mm-hmm.
I just finally got a chance to see it this week, and I enjoyed it. I thought this was a very solid little Christmas movie, and like the plot isn't anything like insane or anything, but like I thought you could tell that Shannon Latimer is doing the script for this thing because she's a quality writer. She did Ghosts of Christmas Past, which I love,
Yeah.
And I just thought that the banter between the two of them was very well done. And particularly, I thought it captured like the back and forth of like online banter, online friendships, online reviews and criticism,
Yeah,
and
they
all
start
of
as
that.
enemies and become friends. Yeah.
Yeah. And the
The
way that
quick
they involved all
turnarounds.
the food
Yeah.
and I because it's basically like he writes this negative review for her bakery and she responds and they start having this back and forth and
I mean, he had a you know, again, I'll raise this point. He had a right to write that review.
yeah.
I mean, they were kind of like trash to him, and he was like,
Hmm.
he knew what he ordered.
Yeah. And so she's doing the catering for his brother's engagement party.
Yes.
And so they're working together like that, but they don't know that they have been like arguing online uh, uh, through this back and forth for a while, and they've gotten to know each other. And so I thought it was really solid. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It,
He is
it,
so likable in the movie too.
yeah, and he has been not great in a lot of these movies. I mean, he was in that Snow Maze movie that was
Oh yeah, yes,
absolutely
that's right. Yeah,
terrible,
it's
and
like hit or miss with him, like in
he
some of his movies. Yeah.
yeah, he's had a lot of rough ones for me. uh, so I was glad to see him in this and to be as charming as he is. And this actress, Haley Sales, she reminded me a lot of Jessica Lowndes.
Yes, I think it was just the hair to me.
Maybe.
Like the height and the hair was very much like her style, but yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, and I enjoyed it. I would probably give it like a 4. I'd watch it again.
Yeah, totally. It's so sweet. And I think that this is be like if Up TV is going to acquire some more movies that like didn't
Mm-hmm.
have network premieres, I think this would be a great fit for the
Yeah.
network.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope it gets like picked up next year by somebody, you know, so more people can get access to it. Because I think you can watch it on Roku and Peacock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one unusual one that I saw that you didn't see is on Netflix. There is the new movie Mary, and this is like an epic retelling of Mary and her story, and it's got Anthony Hopkins in it, and
He's
so
popping up in everything.
he's the big name in this, and I liked it. I thought it was interesting and moving. I'm not a traditional Christian, you know, so I'm not going to be as like bothered by different interpretations as maybe some people. They definitely took some risks, but to me that made it interesting. Like for instance, they basically show Mary getting tempted by Lucifer throughout the entire movie.
Hmm.
Like he's there as like a contrast to Gabriel, the angel
Hmm.
Gabriel. He's there to like try to tempt her, and she's of course strong, and they try to make her very like girl bossy and like really strong, but like um I didn't mind that. I thought it was interesting. Like I I mean I was willing to go with that kind of creative license
Right.
for the movie. Other people are not going to like that. They're not going to like some of the other creative. They kind of go. They add this backstory to her parents, and that they really wanted a child, and that they kind of give. It's almost like a Sarah and Abraham kind of story arc, you know, and she's like this miracle baby, and which is not in
Okay.
obviously in the Bible. So like I
But
didn't mind that. I was fine with all of that, but obviously other people are going to be more traditional, and to me that made it like less boring. Like I was kind of, oh, what weird thing are they going to do next, and
well,
what are they going to do? And Anthony
mhm.
Hopkins plays Herod, and so he's
Of
like a
course he
pretty
does.
fun villain, you know, that you have. And Ido Taco plays Joseph, and so you know he's good. And Noah Cohen is Mary, and yeah, I liked it. So I guess it just depends on how strict you are to the.
Let me ask you like two questions real quick, because all I ever saw was the trailer, because I didn't know this movie existed till I saw the trailer, and then I read a little minor. Well, people were upset about casting, and that's all I knew about this movie. But to me, it looked like kind of like a teen, young adult sort of type of movie. Is it more to that audience?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, not as much as Journey to Bethlehem last year, which
Mm-hmm.
was like very much trying to be like a decom.
Oh, totally.
I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it.
I mean,
Absolutely.
like, there's one banger song. I mean, there's one banger song in that I still listen to, and it's the
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas number
Oh
when he's like,
yeah.
"It's good to be
Yeah.
king." I'm like,
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's a banger number.
So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But that one was definitely trying for that demographic to be like the Bible's version of The Greatest Showman. But
Okay. Yes, that's a good comparison.
but
Yeah.
this is more trying to be more of, it's almost like it's trying to be a Marvel movie
Okay. Because I
in
love a
tone.
biblical. Yeah, I love biblical movies, but I kind of put it in two categories. I put some biblical movies that are straight, that don't take much variation from the Bible and what we know. And then it's biblical fiction, because I've seen a lot of biblical movies that are based on books. So, would if you could say this is more like biblical fiction, I mean, would that, you think, appease some people who are a little nervous about
Yeah.
variations to it? Because people seem to be more forgiving with biblical fiction than with something being straight, than somebody saying this is straight from the Bible.
Yeah, no, I would say that it is, in the sense of like when you have in the Ten Commandments, for example, you have the what's her name? You've got uh and oh my gosh, my brain can't think of her name. You've got the Nefertiti,
Yeah. Anne
like
Baxter
things.
played it. No, that's not Anne
Anne
Baxter.
Baxter. I knew it was
Is
Anne. I
it
couldn't
Anne
think of the last
Baxter?
name.
No, I don't think so.
No, it is. Yeah,
It
it
is?
is.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Anne Baxter, like hamming it up, and it's like obviously not biblically accurate. You've got Edward G.
Right.
Robinson. What
I'm
is
okay
he
with that.
doing
I
in
mean,
that? What's he doing in that movie? Like, I'm fine with it as well. I'm just saying that it's not like a strict,
yeah. Because
but
for me personally, I'm fine with it. I'll go into it and I'll go into it as like, this isn't going to be exactly like what I believe in or follow, but I'm just
yeah,
going to take it as is. And if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't.
yeah.
But
Well, and
but some people aren't. Yeah.
and I know that like the Chosen takes liberties,
Yes, it
and some
does.
people don't like that, but this would be even more so than that. This isn't as far as like Darren Aronofsky's Noah. It's not that out there,
What?
but
Yeah.
it's
I mean, no, I just, in my mind, I was like, those were some interesting choices he made. I don't think it worked, but
yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's I think that it's interesting to see what different people can do with it. And at least it wasn't boring.
Mm.
At least it tried different things and was kind of surprising, and so
I was like, when I first watched the trailer, I was like, oh, this looks like a YA dystopian sort of
yeah.
movie. Like, that's the way the trailer portrayed. But I was
Mhm.
interested in seeing it. I am curious.
Yeah.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/hallmarkies.
A novel Christmas This is on Up TV, and it stars Bridget Kingsley and Landy Cannon, and it was actually written by Bridget Kingsley and director Andrew Simek. And it's about a beloved children's book author has always drawn inspiration from her cherished childhood memories. During her final book signing at the Noelville bookstore, Chloe encounters Ethan, a devoted single father, and his book-loving, aspiring writer daughter, Alex. Their shared passion for literature sparks an immediate connection. Just when Chloe believes she's on the brink of embracing her future, her publisher extends a dazzling opportunity for a high-profile New Year's Eve appearance on a major network show. Now she must decide whether to stand firm in her resolve to focus on her novel and personal life or succumb to the lure of her demanding career.
Woo, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. So, did you see this one?
I did.
Okay, what did you think?
I liked it. It surprised me. I wasn't expecting much, to be honest, but I didn't know much going into this movie. I didn't read the synopsis. I didn't see a trailer. I just popped it on. It's on the street on Up TV stream. Excuse me. It is on Up TV's streaming service.
Yeah, they're Up Faith and Family.
Yeah, and so that's how I watched it. So I just went in, and I was surprised. I really liked it, and I didn't know it was going to be as faith focused as it was, which was a nice twist because we don't, for anybody who cares, we don't get a lot of like Christmas movies with a faith element to it because Christmas is such a huge, holiday into itself.
Yeah, it has been pretty secularized.
Yeah. So, but
yeah, I think
I liked it.
Yeah, and this is perfectly nice little holiday film. It is
Totally.
completely, we've seen it by the numbers, completely predictable.
Oh, yeah.
So I liked, again, the focus on grief can be nice and touching. The little girl, she's cute. But I mean, it's pretty generic, but pleasant, I would say.
Yeah, it's totally pleasant. And what I did really like was when they when the lady was like, I can't go to the ballroom class because of my hip, and she kind of makes it so but they know they're getting set up to take that night. That whole dance number I thought was really well put together and filmed. And I was like, this kind of adds to, because they didn't have that much chemistry, but it kind of added like, yes, I would like to see these two work it out. I think it was a nice little moment in the movie to make you want this couple to get together. I was like, this is very nice, very sweet, and
it kind of reminded me of when we were talking about holidays, the series on Hallmark Plus, when Anna and I were talking about it, the Aaron Cahill storyline, Ian Harding, Aaron Cahill story. He was more invested in getting a relationship with the little boy. And it was like, well, in order for me to be his dad, I have to be in a relationship with this woman. So let's do it.
Oh boy.
Like the priority was this relationship. And I kind of felt that a little bit here. Like the little girl was the
right, was really the linchpin of all that. But man, they were pros after basically the ballroom lady just like, this is what whatever type of dancing it is, and then they just dance. And I was like, this isn't interesting to put in this movie, but like they were pros without even having a lesson.
But I would say for Bridget, she wants some encouragement. I think it's like a decent first start. I think this is her first one.
Yeah.
So keep going.
Oh yeah, totally. I was surprised.
I guess she's done a couple other ones, but I would say like be encouraged, keep going. You can do it.
I mean, how many Candy Cane movies have we watched or whatever her name is? Like, you keep on going, girl. It's all right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm still on the hunt for her 3 new ones, but they haven't been released anywhere. I'll let you know, Rachel.
Okay.
Well, no, I was pleasantly surprised by this one, honestly.
Yeah. The last one that I wanted to talk about is actually just for something different. It's just debuted on American Masters on PBS. And it's called Brenda Lee Rockin' Around. And this is a documentary about Brenda Lee, famous singer Brenda Lee. And the focus is her big hit, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, which is still comes up in the top 10 during this time of the year.
Oh, yeah.
On the Billboard, which is kind of crazy. And I think even a couple of years ago, it was number one on the Billboard.
Yeah, I think it became number one last year. I think
Was it
everybody was
last
talking.
year? Yeah,
Yeah, that's when
yeah.
everybody realized she was what? How old was she when she did that
She
song?
was
13?
13.
Yeah,
She
and
was
people
13.
were couldn't believe that she was 13 years old when she
Yeah.
was because she was
And
still alive last year when it went to
yeah,
number
she's in the
one.
documentary.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how like prolific of a performer she was for
Oh
those
yeah.
years. And like she was like performing with Elvis. She was performing with like she was very, very famous. They were saying one year she was the number one recording female artist in the country. I had no idea that she was that famous, which was
Yeah.
interesting. So if you're looking for something a little different than this, I mean, American Masters is always fantastic.
Always, it's true.
Even if I don't have that much interest in the person that they're profiling, I still usually am very interested in the documentary that they do
Yeah.
because they're just so well done, these documentaries. So I would strongly encourage everybody, if you have a DVR, to record, to set the recording for American Masters. And so because they're just worth your time. They're really good. I would also recommend putting a recording for the Great Performances. That's also on PBS, and you get to see some incredible stuff on there
Oh
on the
yeah.
Great Performances. So
Gotta love that.
yeah. And so and I think they're probably available online.
And also you can get a whole bunch if you have the PBS's streaming service. You can get it through Amazon or subscribe to itself. It's basically a donation. You get it for the year. The PBS Passport, that's it.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I love to use, which I love
Yeah.
personally. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you definitely want to sign up for that now because All Creatures Great and Small is
Oh,
starting up
absolutely.
again.
And
And
sometimes they put all those episodes
yeah,
on. No,
the
not with that one.
the
But
premiere is January 12th.
oh, I can't
And
wait.
so that's going to be so much fun. It's going to be insane around here because there's no rest for the weary in the world of Hallmark
Oh
because
my gosh, When Calls the
Hallmarky's
Heart,
podcast,
The Way Home.
The Way Home, and When Calls the Heart are starting the beginning of January. We've got
There's no rest. You get no rest.
no
Jumping
rest for
right
the
in.
weary. There's Way Home, When Calls the Heart, starting the first week of January, plus the what are they calling it? Like the Winter Escape or whatever
I believe
movies.
so. I think
Yeah,
it's
whatever it is.
Which is really just a reworked Passport to Love.
Yeah, and then we have All Creatures Great and Small, which we cover as well. And so yeah, it's gonna be wild, but it's good. I like being busy. I have no
It's good to be busy, actually.
good to be
It
busy.
is. It's good to be busy.
So anyway, if you would like to learn more about Brenda Lee and about rocking around the Christmas tree, then it looks like it is available, yeah, on their website. You can watch it right now on the website without logging in or having an account. You can just watch it. Brenda Lee rocking around on pbs.org. Check it out. I really love documentaries.
Yeah, I'm
like
gonna
that.
check it out. Yeah.
I'm a big sucker for I just like learning about people, you know.
Yeah, no, it's true. Me
I
too.
really do. So there we go. I think we covered everything, right?
Oh wait, no, the holiday list.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I don't know if you
So
want to bother with this one, but
so you had the holiday list. It has another name, right?
on Letterboxd, it's called It's Christmas. It might be that way because it's a British film and it's on Peacock, so I guess. But to call it the holiday list makes better sense than It's Christmas. It stars
Brittany Snow, huh?
Brittany Snow
it's
in
no
it.
good.
Well, it's depressing. It is depressing, and Brittany Snow, like, I would. Okay, and you remember Angela Bassett when she burnt that car in the oh, what was that movie that she did? When the friends were
yeah, Waiting to Exhale.
That's it. Yes, I think. Yeah, you know how she walks, she burns that car, she walks away triumphant. That would have I would say Brittany Snow, do that to your family as you walk away from that disaster and free yourself. Basically,
they're horrible, huh?
Yeah, she's an American. She's married to this British dude. They go home to his father's house for Christmas. She has an estranged relationship with her own mother, which we don't really get to see, but she was very close to her mother-in-law, and she has passed away, and this is the first Christmas without her mother-in-law.
That sounds
But her
stressful.
family, like her in-laws, her sister-in-law and stuff, they hate her. They treat her with such disrespect. And she finds her mother-in-law's journal, and she gets drunk one night, and she just makes a list to just have the family do something to honor the mother and to be close. And, that all blows up in their face. And it's a very depressing movie, but it's kind of a movie that I could see some people liking and some people not liking. But my main I guess what bothered me the most about this movie is that I don't think they had a full script, because there are moments in this movie that I don't think any script writer would write. And I have no, I didn't look this up, but I think that there are moments that are improvised, um, that they just wing it and say whatever they want, and then the actors react to it and keep improvising. And because there's recognizable British faces in this movie, if you watch like
You
a
have
lot
to
of
be
British
like
stuff,
so gifted to do that and make it
exactly. And
work.
I don't think it works. And it's like, what is going on here? And like I have to like really dig in deep, but that was the impression I got, because I was like, there's no one who's going to write that. That's just, it sounds silly in a way. And there's like a lot of pauses, but man, these people are just horrible. Like I was like, free this poor woman from this family. And it is about just everybody sad. The dad's a drunk. The sister-in-law. Oh, and the sister-in-law is just a terrible, terrible person.
Is it
Um,
all sort of refreshing? It's like if people are sort of sick of the Hallmark stuff.
I mean, if you want a downer of a movie, sure. Like I said, because I can actually see somebody go, I really like this approach to this movie. It's not your typical holiday movie. It's a bunch of sad sack people trying to have a good holiday.
That's
They're
kind of
not,
how I felt about the Snow Sister. Like that one was pretty melancholy in tone and feel,
Mhm.
and it was
Yeah.
pretty sad.
It's not different, because there are a lot of holiday movies that deal with dead parents. Um, a whole bunch apparently. That's like a genre unto itself. But I mean, they're just all miserable, and everybody's got an accent, but it is weird. It is weird for
Huh.
those moments that I'm like, I know that they're improvising, and it's just, I don't know. It could have been tighter, but I
Yeah.
get that it has a good sentiment. It's like it's your first Christmas without a parent, and it's awkward, and you
What would
are,
you give it? 1 to 5?
uh, I'd give it like a 2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Yeah, because I do think, I mean, the sister-in-law is so mean, but she does a good performance of just being insufferable, and it's just weird, Rachel. It's like
Yeah.
I need somebody to see it and tell me that, yeah, I think it's weird, but it's not your traditional Christmas movie. And Brittany Snow is pretty good in it. She always is. And so, I
Huh.
mean, it's
Yeah.
watchable,
What would you
I
give Novel
guess.
Christmas?
Oh, I'd give that like two and a
I'd
half,
say
I guess.
I'd say 3.
Yeah, I'm going between 2.5 and 3. So,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I
Same.
was surprised by it.
Yeah. Well, very good. Thank you so much for doing this. Let us know in the comments what you think about all these different ones, especially Mary. I'd be very curious what people's takes are on that. And that would be very interesting. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. And Terry, where can people find you?
On Twitter at Flurry Heaven.
Great. And you can follow the podcast, Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really, really appreciate that. And if you are listening on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which is the biggest way that you can support us. I wouldn't be surprised if we would have Shannon Latimer or Nicholas Humphreys, who directed A Sprinkle of Christmas, and we had him on the podcast this week. I wouldn't be surprised if we have him on for a watch along or patron event. We had Shannon on already once before. She's great, and so it's a chance to get the behind the scenes of these movies and ask questions and just have a fun time with fellow patrons. And I really try hard to make it worth your investment. So please take a look at that. And the merch store, we've got lots of fun designs there. And so check that out. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to y'all later. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.